Welcome back to Panda and History channel. Today is December 6, 2022. Taiwan recently had its 2022 local election, and the election results is described as a landslide defeat for the incumbent Democratic Progressive Party. As a result, President Tsai resigned as the leader of DPP. It is also a disastrous defeat for the US foreign policy as well. It seems that Kuomintang, KMT, had a victory and we should feel good about the future of Taiwan Strait. Why the danger of war across Taiwan Strait didn't subside? Please listen to my analysis and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. This would be a great help and encouragement for me, and you will not miss my future videos. Before we start to analyze what have happened, let me explain why do we need to understand what happened in a local election in Taiwan. Taiwan's local election is similar to US midterm election, which is held 2 years between the presidential election. China is defined by US as its biggest competitor and rivalry. Taiwan is the most likely place where the next military conflict will be rising, which will most likely involve US. In today's world of rising geopolitical conflict, this election has moved the needle of political and power balance in the Far East region. What have happened? Taiwan's local election elects municipalities and county mayors, municipality and county councilors, city and township mayors. The ruling DPP party, which is considered to be pro-independence, have lost half of its city and counties it had held in the last local elections 4 years ago. Including Taoyuan City, one of the 6 biggest municipalities. It now controls only 5 of Taiwan's 21 municipalities and counties. The main opposition nationalist party, aka Kuomintang, which has long worked to reduce tensions with Beijing, or considered pro-China, won 13 municipalities and counties, including retake control of the capital, Taipei. The party now controls 4 of Taiwan's 6 special municipalities, where more than 2/3 of the Taiwan population live. I use Google search engine to see US media on the election results. On the first page of search results, I am able to see Bloomberg, CNN, Reuters, and The Guardian. However, I didn't see any reports from MSNBC or Fox News. To rule out the biases in Google's algorithm towards certain media, I went in the website msnbc.com and foxnews.com and searched Taiwan Local Election and Taiwan Local Election 2022. It's have no news report about the result of the most recent Taiwan local election. Instead, on the top line of Fox News search results, I see a news from 8 years ago titled Local Election Losses in Taiwan Deal Stiff Setback to Pro-China Ruling Party, which refers to 2014 Taiwan's local election, where the ruling Nationalist Party lost in the mayoral elections in Taipei City, the capital of Taiwan. Fox went on to say the losses deal a stronger than expected blow to President Ma Ying-jeou, who has staked his reputation on stronger ties with Beijing. That will make it tougher for the nationalists to hold on to the presidential in 2016. The same search yields no results in MSNBC. I would expect either they don't care or both agencies suffered some loss in the reporters recently. According to VOA News, the defeat suffered by Taiwan's pro-independence ruling Democratic Progressive Party in 2022 local election is seen as a warning to President Tsai Ing-wen and her party that voters are not happy with their governance on local issues. No, it's not. President Tsai Ing-wen has always used the strategy to frame local elections as showing defiance to China's rising threat. It has been working very well in the past. Why doesn't it work anymore now? VOA went on to say, analysts say it is too soon to tell what consequences the loss will have on the presidential race in January 2024 and on relations with mainland China, which wants to unify with the self-ruled island one day. This is not the correct analysis, not even close. I don't know who those analysts are and whether they know anything about Taiwan's political environment. Taiwan's local election is never only about local, and the China US relationship is always in the picture. Like what the Fox News story 8 years ago, it should be local election losses in Taiwan deals stiff setback to pro-independence ruling party. And of course, it shows exactly what will happen in the 2024 presidential election as the six special municipalities have two-thirds of Taiwan's population. It is true that less young people have supported DPP, who have come out to vote. It is true that the administration under President Tsai is disappointing. The efficient management of the COVID response and vaccination development, staggering economy, corruptions. However, the root cause is the DPP strategy of counter China and protect Taiwan's democracy, which had worked amazingly well in the past elections, stopped working. Why the same strategy doesn't work anymore? There's only one that comes to the blame. It's the failed strategy of US and its president Joe Biden. The Ukraine-Russia war broke out this February has come to the surprise of many people. I have successfully predicted it before it happens, and very early in the war, I was able to tell President Zelensky no about it beforehand, but failed to do anything to prevent the war in my previous video. This bloody war has inevitably shifted the political balance in the Taiwan island for good. Before the war, I myself am a strong supporter of Taiwan's independence to protect its democracy. After the war broke out in February, it has become more and more clear of two facts. The war is bloody and cruel. US is too coward and selfish to join the war to help Ukraine, even backed by 30 NATO countries and a false promise for the Ukraine to join NATO. Taiwan's people aren't stupid. Do they want Taiwan to become the second Ukraine? Do they want their homes to be destroyed, friends and family killed just for the US to fulfill its own agenda to drag China down? Even though Biden has repeatedly iterated that US is at the back of Taiwan's security and will send army, everyone with a basic judgment would tell there's no way US can join the war directly. There's no defense to the PRC's supersonic missiles. US simply cannot tolerate the big loss in the war with China. While I agree the Ukraine-Russia war has served a few purposes for US, it has successfully beaten the euro to its knees. After all, the war is in Europe, and the tens of millions of refugees are pouring into European neighboring countries. And the US oil gas company and the military complex gained huge margin in their balance sheet. But the European people are suffering the worst Christmas in decades, and American people are suffering a high inflation rate, a shrinking purse, and uncertain future. You and me, the working class people, will never be the winner of the war. To defend Chinese army, which is 10 times larger, Taiwan has to extend its current compulsory military service. Now, an eligible male citizen only needs to serve 4 months boot camp in enlisted military services in Taiwan. And this is way shorter than needed if war is to break out with mainland. The incumbent DPP is pushing an extension from 4 months to a year, which is understandably unpopular for the young people, especially under the tremendous pressure of war in the Taiwan Strait after the controversial visit of Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi this summer. If selecting DPP means longer military service and possible war and death, that explains why Taiwan's young people, who traditionally support the pro-democracy DPP, hesitate to go out and vote in the local election. It seems the tension will be de-escalating if pro-peace party KMT will become majority. Why do I still predict a war across the Taiwan Strait is inevitable in the near future? Both China and the US has the urgency to start the war as soon as possible. For the US, Taiwan is not only the heart of its first island train, and it is the only handle in the Far East that can be used to deter China's development and possibly trend to overtake US global dominance. The 2022 Taiwan midterm election has not only showed the failure of pro-independence DPP, but also clearly announced the failure of US strategy in Taiwan Strait in the long run. Tsai Ing-wen, the pro-independence president, which is likely to be kicked out of office in 2024, may be the last chance to help trigger a war with China. For the Chinese, President Xi has already secured his third term and a stable CCP leadership circle, and Chinese army is ready. Reunite with Taiwan is the biggest milestone for the great rejuvenation of Chinese nation and Xi's China dream. Most importantly, China is actively working to topple the US dollar hegemony with its traditional allies in the Middle East, such as Saudi Arabia. Without it, the Fed won't be able to save the inflation as less and less of US dollars are used in the world trade. That's all for today. See you in my next video.